Hey guys, and welcome back to What We Eat in a Week. So, these are the Bird's Eye Kievs. Rubbish. I got them on last week's haul. Rubbish. Don't like them. There's next to no sauce in them. They're absolutely rubbish. The chips were nice. Then we had lasagna. Steve always makes the lasagna. Garlic bread, rabbit food. Then this is a recipe that's coming out next week. This is char siu pork with Chinese rice, bok choy, and Steve likes his tomatoes done in there as well. And there was some tender stem. Chuck all your veggies in. And it was a simple jacket potato with some tuna mayo. How we can chuck cheese on top of tuna mayo is beyond me, but whatever. And then some rabbit food on the side. You'll always be able to tell if it's this because it's got tomato on. So rabbit food again, with a bit more protein. Some ham, some baby shrimp, and a stuffed pepper. Then it was an easy night. Some homemade chips, nice and crispy. Some sausage from the butcher. They were lovely. And a fried egg. So this was Sunday. I thought I'd press record, and I hadn't. This is 800 grams of rump steak, and I've left it in big pieces like this on purpose. Because I'm going to stew it on high in the slow cooker for 4 hours. So I don't, and this is going into a pie, a steak pie. So I don't want it shredded. So basically I just left it in big chunks so that I can cut it down to size a bit later. So all I'm doing is chopping up one medium onion, and 500 grams of mushrooms, but I've left them chunky, I've just quartered them. Or if they're really big, a bit more. So that's the size of them now. They're not that size when they go into the pie. So I've just cooking these, and they've released all that juice. I'm not going to get rid of that juice. I'm going to put them to the side for a minute, and we're going to throw all the mushrooms and that onion in there. That is flavour. Keep it in. Loads of mushrooms. And the onion too. And that's all that goes into that pie. There's no other vegetable. So I'm just going to cook these down. You can see the mushrooms, they're like sponges. They're soaking up all that flavour. There we go, look. Pop the meat back in with the juice that it's let out. And all I'm going to do is use one Norse stock pot, beef stock pot thing. And 150 mils of, boiling water, and a heaping tablespoon of corn flour all mixed into that. So I'm just putting in some salt and pepper. Basil, shoving it in front of the camera just in case I forget. That's garlic. This is going to thicken up quite a bit because of that corn flour, especially as it heats up fully. So while that's cooking, we're going to make a chocolate and mint chocolate chip tray bake. So in went the butter, white sugar, dark sugar. I will put the recipe below in the description box. And we're just going to mix them and whip them so that they're well combined. You know, I've had this mixture, what, 24 years, and it's still going. I don't know how long Steve's mum had it, but yeah, it's still going. I shouldn't say that, should I? I'm touching wood. Can't beat the old Kenwoods. One day I'll upgrade it, but not until I have to. So just scrape down. Always remember when you're baking and using a stand mixer to scrape it down. If you're using a hand mixer, the same applies. Give it a good scrape down. So now I'm going to add eggs into this. So one at a time. Mix until it's just incorporated. And then add the next. There's 3 eggs. You're going to need a 9 by 13 inch pan, lined with some grease-proof paper. This is an easy tray bake to make. Not quite as fast as that Biscoff one, but it's still an easy one to make. So you just keep going until you've got all the mix in, and then scrape it down again. I know it's annoying when people keep saying, oh, scrape it down, but it is important. So now I'm adding the flour, the cocoa, the baking powder, baking soda, and the salt. And there's some green mint choc chips in there. That's it, get it all in. Don't overmix it. Once you've got everything in, don't overmix it. Because it's a flat tray bake, you don't want all that added air in there, because then it's just going to rise and crack. It's not the end of the world. I mean, at the end of the day, you're going to cover it with a frosting anyway, so. And some milk, just to loosen it up a bit. And that is it. It's as easy as that. If you get all your ingredients weighed out and that beforehand, it makes things a lot easier. So it's still quite a thick batter. So I've got my tin prepared, and I'm just going to throw all the batter in there. And I'll just level it off. So I put this on gas 4. We'll put the other conversions for the oven in the directions below in the description box. Can't think of it off the top of my head. Now in my oven, this took 45 minutes. I'm just knocking some excess air out. 45 minutes. Just check it in your own oven. Yours may cook quicker, it may take longer. Just check it with a skewer, toothpick, make sure it comes out clean. So here you can see the meat is now cooked. I'm taking it out of here. That's all the filling for the pie. I'm taking it out and just putting it out into it like a little drainer with a bowl underneath to catch the excess gravy. I don't want too much gravy because it's going to make my pie soggy. I also don't want to chuck the gravy away. So the steak pieces are a lot more bite-sized now. So I'm leaving that to cool down before I put it in my pie. So I've washed out my multi-cooker and I'm going to put in the veg for tea, which is cabbage, of course, tender stem, some stringless beans. Now we've got quite a lot of them coming through on the garden. I bought a bare root apple tree for my dad, just like a memorial sort of thing, and it's already sprouting. I'm really shocked. It's doing really well. It's a pink lady apple tree, so yeah, I'm really happy about that. It's doing well. So whenever I look at it, not that I go outside very often, but whenever I look at it and get fruit from it, it'll just make me think of my dad, you know? Don't know why I told you that, but yeah. So, I'm using a, what do you call them? Enamel tin. Tin is much better for pies. It keeps the pastry crisp. I'm using a pre-rolled, pre-made short crust pastry because I'm lazy. Yes, I can make it for anybody out there. I just choose not to. It's time standing up that I can do without. I baked off the pastry case and now you can see the chunks of meat, look. They're more bite size now. I just baked off the pastry case. Now I'm going to fill it. You can see that they are still coated with gravy. This is not going to be a dry pie. And you can see there's the excess gravy down there in the bowl, which we do use at tea time. So I'm just mixing up one egg. This will just be to brush across the top of the pie. So I've got another roll of pre-made short crust pastry. This is to go over the top. Don't think that you have to make pastry, guys, because you really don't. It's still a homemade pie. You've made everything that goes into it. By all means, if you want to make the pastry, go ahead. Just stick it to the pastry that's below so that the pie doesn't leak. And then I'm just trimming off the excess. And the excess pastry that was hung over while it was cooking the first time round. So just making it all even. As you can see, that pastry there, look. Just take that off while I take the other pastry. Tidy it up. Then you want a couple of vents. That's to stop your pastry from steaming. You want it to crisp. So make sure you put a couple of vent holes in. Brush it with an egg. Now everything's cooked apart from that top piece of pastry, so you've literally only got to put it on. I put it on gas 4 and it was in there for about 40 minutes. Just to make sure that everything was fully heated. I don't know about anybody else, but every time I try and cut a pie, it's a nightmare. Fruit or savoury. The first piece just never comes out, does it? So into the oven that's going to go. All I'm taking is some baby potatoes, just, if they're small, just throwing them in. If they're bigger, just slicing them in half, lengthways. And nothing difficult, an easy tea. I do find if you want your baby potatoes to last a lot longer, store them in your fridge. Because the heat now is just making them turn real fast. My potatoes are nearly ready to pull in the garden. Same with my chantenay carrots, they're nearly done as well. So I'm looking forward to getting them. The red spring onions, I don't know whether I said, they're really quite a lot stronger than the regular spring onions. I don't know if anybody out there has had the red ones. I thought it might be like with regular onions, you know, where with the red onions quite mild, isn't it, compared to the white. But no, it's the opposite way around. So as I've put my potatoes on to cook, the steamer is set into action for the vegetables, and now I'm just mixing some butter with some icing sugar. And I've legged it somewhere. So I just want these at the point where they're creamed. You see the icing at the bottom there, the icing sugar, that's the reason you should scrape down your bowls. This is barely on number 1. I didn't want the icing sugar to fly everywhere. But I do turn it up, and as you can see it starts to grab that icing sugar. Off we go. So this is the buttercream for the top of the tray bake. Again, I will put measurements below. So that's them creamed together. You can still see there's bits that have been missed. And next in, that's cocoa. Try and use a good cocoa. I mean, if you have to get like Bourneville or something, that's fine. But the red cocoa is really good. Dutch cocoa is even better. So that was 6 tablespoons of cocoa I put in there. Again, I'm not turning it up too high because I don't want to wear it. This is just some warm milk, and this will help bring everything together. It'll loosen up. When I say warm, I don't mean it's a hot temperature. It is just like skin warm. Scrape it down yet again. It's the most annoying part of baking for me. Because I always get it all over my hands. See? And then I end up touching something. Like my top. I got sprayed with milk earlier, that's what's on my top. This is melted chocolate, but it is not hot. It's room temperature. If you add red hot chocolate into this cold batter, it would start to seize. So be patient, or do it first. And now you're just going to whip this for about 3 to 4 minutes. And then I poured it into a bowl after that time and popped it in the fridge for half an hour to start setting up. Otherwise it's just going to run off your tray bake. So I popped it into the bowl like I said and into the fridge, and now I'm just popping it on top of the tray bake. See, it's nice and dark. That's that cocoa. The cake, I mean. It's nice and moist in the middle. I really don't like that word moist. But the cake's moist in the middle. It's tender, it's not dry. And I'm just going to decorate it for the kids, basically. Decorate it any which way you like. So I'm just going to spread it out so everywhere's got a good layer. Now, what I was saying about really good quality cocoa. If you do use a really good quality cocoa, you get a nice deep dark chocolate sponge. I literally had about 30 grams of these left over, so I thought, sod it, I'll just chuck them in. And then Caitlin was hovering behind me. That's why I handed them back behind me, to get her out of the way. And these are the same mint chocolate chip morsels that I put into the batter. I ain't gone mad, I just put a few on. And then little Amy wanted a little splash of pink, but of course she did. And that goes into the fridge. Just let it set up. It shouldn't take any more than half an hour or so. You just want the buttercream to set up, basically. So that was the pie. And that was when I murdered it, cutting it up. But you can see there's nice big chunks in there and it's not dry. It's still got its own gravy. Num num. And that was what we had for tea on Sunday. It's been quite some time since I did a pie. And that was the cake when it was cut up. So please guys, hit that thumbs up for me. It does wonders for getting it on the old algorithm. I can just say it. Like, comment, subscribe if you're not already subscribed. A big portion of people watch these videos and they're not subscribed. What are you waiting for? Hit that subscribe button so you know every time I upload a new video. And that's it for today, guys. Chat to me in the comments and I will see you on Wednesday. Bye for now.